boy Rad Bingham over there. I never get it right, man. And over there, it's Mr. Wolf. I thought I would lean that time, but I still messed it
I'm
up,
still
man.
messing it up too.
How you been, brother?
I've been good. Yeah, really nothing to complain about, but there's a lot of good news, which is what we're going to go over today. Super exciting. It might be a little bit of a short talk. Depends on how much we get into things, but yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
It's good. Man, I'm really excited. We're getting the tech talk in, and then last night we had a Titches talk with who was it? It was
The Razzle Dazzle
Razzle Dazzle
Tampons. Tampazzle.
That's right. That's right. And let's see, there was Cinderella was there, SRTA Ace, and then seemed like a good idea. What was wrong with his eyes, dude?
There was something wrong with he's probably a reptilian. I mean, that's probably what it is.
They got into that discussion about like, man, he was calling them Filipinos. What is this? What did I stumble across?
It was comical, man. It was a really good show.
It was a great show. Titch did a fantastic job. So did the temp crew that he had in there. So that was awesome. And then also we've been watching a lot of Firewall, like some fights going on here lately, and I mean some really really good fights. The last one that I was involved with, it was, what was it? A Good Choice versus Chronic Mastigators Team B. And holy shit, all the way down to the wire. If I know we're talking tech talk, but just if you have not seen that, you should go to YouTube or go back on Twitch on our channel and really watch that one. It was superb.
It was
great.
Was crazy good. That fight was so good. It was an upset. I'm not going to tell you until you have to watch it to find out, but I'll tell you it was an upset.
So let's just dive right into it, man. So there's been some rumors going out today. Most of the sources that I saw came from Upload VR, from IGN, and many, many other sources. Road to VR is one of them as well. That there's been leaked information about the PSVR 2 and confirmed specs. They're not actually confirmed, but these are the leaked details of what the final specs should be. But they should be. So just starting off, one of the first things is the pixel resolution in each eye. So they're saying that it will have 4K in each eye. Mm-hmm. And compared to what the PSVR 2 or PSVR is right now, I mean, you're talking about it's a leap. It's a leap. Mm-hmm. Let's see, on the PSVR right now, as far as megapixels per eye, if it was 1.0 in 2016, the rumored PSVR 2 would be at 4.1. So you're looking, I mean, it's huge, right?
Huge difference.
I do have my concerns about it. I will say that. I mean, it's something great to be excited about, and obviously a leap from what we're used to. But if we said that the megapixels per eye was at 4.1 for the rumored PSVR 2, that's still not even here, not announced, not confirmed, compare that up to an Oculus Quest 2, which stands at 3.5 right now, and it's sitting right next to me. I worry about how fast is this technology going to get old. I guess that's a weird way to say it. It's going to get old really, really
what's
quick.
the shelf life?
Yeah, and it's going to be short. I'm going back to my PSVR 2 prediction. It is going against what you and Titch had said. But I'm claiming, man, that we're going to have a PSVR 2 extremely soon. Extremely soon. Like I said, what did I say? By next year?
Yep, you were saying by latest Q2 next year.
Yeah, I mean at the absolute very latest, very very latest. Yep. There's no, it just in my personal opinion, there's no way in shit that you're gonna come out with these 4K. Look, people are coming out with 5K shit now.
Yeah. 8K even.
8K stuff now. Look, Apple didn't even confirm yet. I'm still saying that will happen next month, but that's not confirmed yet. Oh no, there goes Chuck. Sorry. But even the Apple VR headset, that the specs that we saw are going to be with 8K. So I get this. This is going to be affordable. This is going to be for you, me, everybody. The Apple shit's not really obtainable for. I can't pay that shit. There's no way. But I just worry about it, man. I really, really worry about it. We already know that there's going to be a Quest Pro. We know that. And there's going to be upgrades somehow, right? So what is the basics that they're going to upgrade? I mean, it's going to be resolution, without a doubt. And then all of a sudden, the Quest Pro is going to be equivalent to the PSVR 2. Then you really got to worry about, well, when is PSVR 3 going to come out in another 5 to 7 years? But I can get me a Quest Pro 1.0, whatever they're going to call it, next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are... There's a lot of things that us as consumers really have to think about when deciding to purchase a unit. And with what Sony's going through at the moment, which is another talking point for tonight's episode, is limited resources. We've been hearing that Sony has been struggling to keep units on the shelves. Every time they push out units, they're sold out. The demand is significantly higher. In fact, in the first fiscal quarter, I believe, of the PS4, there was like 14.8 million units sold, something like that. And even with the crisis of the shortage of materials for the PS5 in the first fiscal quarter, the PS5 has sold over 7 million units, so half. And that's on a deficit of units. Like, they don't have enough units, so the demand is incredibly high, and every time they push them out, all of a sudden the units are gone, and now they're in a drought again. So one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to change a bit of the hardware to make resources a little bit more accessible, which I think if we're gonna start anywhere, I think it's important to start with that, because there's less information. There's less information there, but it could also impact. It could impact the PSVR too. It could. I don't know. But I figure we start there because there's less information on it, so we won't be talking on that too much as compared to the other stuff. But let me make sure that I pulled this up. Okay. Yep. There it is. Okay. So we're not going to focus on that. We are going to go here. Okay, so we can see the title. Sony expects PS5 supply issues to continue into next year. So this is damning. All right, this is an article written by Sam Byford over on The Verge. If you guys don't know about The Verge, go check them out. Like, they're an awesome media outlet source, and very, very dependable, not like some of those other media outlet sources out there. So we look at some of the quotes here. This one in particular is by Totoki, very important person, CFO, I believe. It says it's CFO reportedly. Yep. Okay. So it says it's difficult for Sony to keep up with the demand for the PS5. And it's likely to continue 2022. I don't think demand is calming down this year, and even if we secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, supply wouldn't be able to catch up with the demand. We have sold more than 100 million units of the PS4, and considering our market share and reputation, I can't imagine demand dropping. So this is where I got my information before, and I'm surprised I got some of it actually accurate. From memory, Sony is aiming to produce at least 14.8 million PS5 consoles in the financial year beginning April 2021, and have sold 7.8 million through March 31st, so that's pretty hefty. The company also sold 14.8 million PS4 units in its first full fiscal year. Oh, that was a full fiscal year, not the full fiscal first month. Right. But didn't experience... So think about this, okay? Think about those numbers. The PS4 in the first fiscal year sold 14.8 million. Sony is aiming to produce at least 14.8 million PS5 consoles in the first year. And by March 31st, they've already sold half.
Yeah.
Already sold half in the first 6 months. So they're already on the right track. But imagine if they didn't have the shortage of units. That number would be significantly larger.
Higher. Yeah, much higher.
So that's always interesting to look at. And then here it says PlayStation Boss has previously suggested that PS5 supply would get better every month throughout 2021. And the pace of the improvement, this is by Jim Ryan, and the pace of the improvement in the supply chain will gather throughout the course of the year. Clearly, this has not happened. Every time they get resources, they pump it into the PS5 units, they put them on the shelves, and they're gone within presumably the first week, probably even a shorter period of time. Okay. There's a lead into this conversation. I heard last week that there was speculation based on a particular quote that they are going to change the PS5 hardware a little bit. Now, I was like, come on, like that'd be really, really stupid to do. That wouldn't be fair to the existing PS5 owners, because as soon as they change the hardware, is that going to change kind of the way games are made? Is it going to make them better? Well, confirmation here on Notebook Check. Let me see if I can find the author here. Source Digitimes. Okay. Well, there you go. I tried to give you the author, but I'm not getting it. Okay. But here on Notebook Check, it says Sony PlayStation 5 console redesign expected to launch in 2022 with 6 nanometers semi-custom AMD processor. Okay. That sounds like a lot of tech gibberish. Essentially what a processor does is it provide the system power. To do that, it goes through these processing units of particular sizes that have little highways that send information back and forth. It's kind of like your brain working. Your brain has a lot of nerves that tell your body what to do, right? And your body will react based on how fast that communication is going. This is the same exact thing. This is what the processor does. The current generation PS5 has 7 nanometer sized chips. There exist 5 nanometer processors, and I believe they're currently designing a 4 nanometer processor. So what they're looking to do, and it says right here, as we can see, even though the more logical upgrade for the revised PS5 would be a 5 nanometer processor, which means a lot faster and a lot more condensed, with quite the performance improvement over the current 7 nanometer chip, industry sources are suggesting that by 2022, the PS5s will have a 6 nanometer AMD semi-custom processor. Okay. So
Cuts deep.
So like I'm a first generation PS5 owner. Same. I have a 7, and you are too. We have 7 nanometer chip processor unit, which honestly, it runs freaking great. I love it. I have no qualms with it. But knowing that by 2022, they're going to have a faster processor in the PS5, I'm feeling cheated if this system is going to last a full 7-year cycle, if not longer. Thank you so much. Hold on, I'm putting this down real quick. Steve, Thank you so much for the subscription, brother. I appreciate it. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Drywall? What's up, Cinderella? My little brain says Drywall. Don't worry about it. We all have little brains, and we're working on growing them.
We'll slow down.
So why is this important? So not only is the hardware, the internal mechanics, the meat and bones of the system, not only is a part of it going to change, that's good for business, but bad, maybe bad for gamers. By the way, Bogdan Solka, that is who the author is. Yeah. Found it. Okay. There's also speculation that the case is going to change. So here's a potential redesign of the case. I'm hoping you guys can see that. I'm going to check real quick. Yeah, you can see it. Into a more of a book type look. Now, I don't know as if this design is as good as the current one that looks like it's got pop collars. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty slick in my opinion. But
it's like Tony Stark's house.
Yeah, you know.
Love it. Or in front of a stormtrooper.
Yeah, yeah. This just in general, I understand why they're doing it, but I still feel a bit shafted.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, not only is the guts changing a little bit, but the skin's changing. And I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm part of a whole different crowd now, knowing that this could be a potential change. I'm not going to go into all this other stuff because that's more economic driven. That kind of gives you percentages and stuff. And
Still
not
just
going to
rumor stuff, though.
Huh?
It's still just rumor stuff, though.
This
It's
is
nothing to really lose sleep over. I know that there's a processing chip problem and demand is there, and they just don't have it. They don't have the supply, and that this might be a way to fix around it. But
it's a little speculated, but
yeah,
there's a very good chance it's going to happen. I mean, they don't know what size nanometer chip it's going to be, processor unit is going to be. It could be the 6, it could be the 5, it could be a Nuke 4 by the time it comes out. Also, is this going to, in any sort of way, change? I doubt it, because processors don't really impact the gaming development cycle. Mm-hmm. But is this going to be taken in consideration when developing a game, and in what way is it going to do that? Now, I'm not super computer tech like maybe Titch is, or my brother, or my best friend, or hell, even you. But any change to the hardware, there's always a potential for a change in the way things are done. And that's what I'm concerned about. And this kind of leads into our conversation about the PSVR 2.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know where you want to start
I
with
at least
that.
got to say this, though. If the changing the chip is I mean, that one hurts. If they're saying like, oh, we're sorry, man, we're running out of chips, so we had to put these in there, and now it runs even better than what you got, then that sucks. I mean, but as time goes by, technology is going to get better, and no matter what, if you were one of the first adapters, yours is going to get oldest first, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one way to look at it, but man, if they redesign it, though, that's a gut punch. That's like, what? You get a brand new PS5 that's redesigned and faster,
because they also made a big deal about the design reveal. You remember when they first revealed it?
Yeah.
Like, it was spectacle, dude. It was beautiful. And 007 says here, OG PS5 or PS5 Pro, kind of feels that way a little bit. Maybe.
But I will say, when I unboxed my PS5 and I put it next to my brand new big screen TV, I was like, holy shit. Is our TV small? I mean, it's huge. I don't know, man. I was really surprised. You can read the specs as much as you want. Try to put a box up there, but I'm telling you, it's really big. So I mean, I understand a redesign. If it was, I don't know how you pull that off, man. Yeah, and they've made a PS Slim. I get that, real easily, but for it to be faster, new design, and if
they're going to be changing the processor, are they going to potentially change anything else? Are they going to take this opportunity to make other design changes? Because they're like, well, hell, we're already changing the processor because of the limited resources. What else can we save money on? What else is going to increase the longevity of production? Because ultimately that's what they're looking to do. They're getting many units sold, but every time they sell, they now are in a drought once again, and they have to claw and scratch to try to find these resources. And by the time they do, the demand's still so high, when they put them on the shelves, they're gone again. So now they're looking to these other processors, which might be more cost effective and more readily available. Are they going to do that about other bits of the hardware? I try to be an optimist, but in situations like this where the system hasn't even been out for a full year and they're already making design changes, I mean, I can't be alone.
Yeah,
in feeling this
agree.
way.
Big shout out to 007. What's up, man? So I guess that would lead us back over. I'm sorry about the jump, the head start. I got excited.
Dude, I think it was important to throw that out there, because that really is going to be like the chunk of our conversation.
Yeah, so with the rumors about the PSVR coming out, basically, yep, there you go. So 4.1 megapixel per eye. It's basically going to say that I've got 4K in each eye. But right now, with the Quest 2, we were talking about that there's 3.5 megapixels per eye with that. So, I mean, and look, I'm jumping over currently from a PSVR, and then I'm jumping over to an Oculus, and this is the way I play, right? Firewall on this one, and then everything else on this one. And you can automatically tell, like, there's a major boost in brightness. There's a major boost in the pixels. You can still see a little bit of a screen door, just slightly. I mean, you really got to look, but I mean, it is there. So it almost makes you wonder, okay, well, if you get a boost, a 3.5 to a 4.1 megapixel per eye, 4K, you know, is there a screen door? I mean, how's that look? I personally don't know. I've read stuff, but I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. It's pretty something that we pretty much already knew, but I'm happy that it's going to be a boost, but I'm telling you, if PSVR 2 does not come out extremely soon, this technology is going to get old really, really quick.
It's going to get old.
It's super fast. And I worry for Sony that they might get their ass kicked by all these other companies jumping in there with all this brand new technology. And you know all of them are gonna try to take a gut punch at Sony, so they're gonna try to release their shit right at the same time that they release theirs. So, even can you pull it up, Wolf? There was a quote from Mark Zuckerberg. Where was the quote?
Right here.
Facebook is expected to sell this. Where
You see it highlighted?
Okay, yeah. So Facebook is expected to sell the wireless Oculus Quest 2 for a long while, and the company's CEO's Mark Zuckerberg said recently some other folks might try to ship something that they claim is higher quality but has a wire. And I just don't think the consumers are going to want to go for that. I mean, that's a jab, dude.
If that isn't a jab, I don't know what is, man.
Even on my notes right here, I've got a big note here. It says downside. You know, it has a USB-C cable. Like you still, I mean, of course, and we don't know where this is all still just rumors and stuff. But I know it's pretty much confirmed on that. It's gonna be tethered.
Yeah, I'd have to say that if it's coming from Upload VR and they're not saying that it falls under the guise of speculation, then there's a high certainty that it's likely true.
Yeah.
I mean, if we've been waiting for PSVR 2 for so long, and now we're getting confirmation with the controllers, the existence of the controllers, that it's really going to happen, but the HMD is where most people are more concerned. And if we look at the specs here, we'll start with the Upload VR article because that's I believe for most people, the original source. They say that the resolution is going to be 2000 by 2040 per eye, ultimately 4000 2040 pixels. Okay. There's going to be a lens separation adjustment dial, which we saw on the original Quest, but didn't really see a good one on the Quest 2. A gaze tracking capable of foveated rendering. Now, the importance of foveated rendering is it reduces the amount of power needed to actually produce an image. Because with a gaze tracking, that means that there is a method in the software to track where you are looking on the lenses. When it recognizes where you're looking, it's going to increase the resolution where you're looking and decrease the resolution everywhere else, which means less battery consumption, not that the PSVR is going to require it, but less power consumption overall. And it's going to intensify the experience, making the quality of the image that you're actually seeing much clearer and much better. There's going to be a motor in this. Oh, should I wait on this?
It's so sexy. It's so sexy. I'm just so excited. I'm excited about that. And everybody's going to jump into it. But it's just,
a motor in the headset can be used by developers to give haptic feedback. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they have already added adaptive triggers to the controllers, finger sensing on the controllers, and now they're adding haptic feedback to the HMD. What?
That's going to be something, man. That is something. Already, I mean, if you are a PS5 owner, you already know with the new controller, it is awesome. It is incredible how it feels as far as the haptic feedbacks that it's given you. So to put that type of technology maybe inside of the headset, I mean, could you imagine, like, God, my first instinct was like Resident Evil. Like if someone came up behind you and like tapped you from behind,
Oh,
and you
dude,
can
no.
actually feel it and turn around real quick, but nothing's there. Like, there's. I'm just saying, there's some shit.
I'm already
you can
thinking
play
about it.
around
Stop
with
it.
with this.
I got goose pimples.
It's
Jesus.
gonna be so good. Plus, I mean, I think, in my opinion, that the haptic motor inside of the headset, that is like, mwah, like the thing that was the big leak, in my opinion. The 4K in each eye, the inside out tracking, where we've got eye tracking on the inside, and cameras on the outside, so it's also tracking. We kind of know that because of the hand controllers that they showed off.
The orbs
hand
that they're
controllers-
calling them now.
The what now?
The orbs is what they're being
orbs?
touted. Yeah.
Oh man, I got some friends that are gonna have fun with that. Yeah. So, and the orbs are confirmed. Those are actual photos of from Sony of what they're going to look like. So, I mean, I thought that was really cool. But the IPD dial that's inside, that's a major bonus, dude. I mean, especially you've got the eye tracking and everything, but I mean, you can really set this thing just for you. You're going to get the best resolution, the best visuals that you possibly can. It's a lot to be excited about, at least in the VR news and the VR world. That is, if Sony is not even your thing and you're more of an Oculus person, just know this is the type of technology that's coming out, and its competitors are only going to try to outdo that. So VR is, I mean, we're just at the beginning of it. It's so great.
Yeah. And I want to point to how important the IPD adjustment dial, physical dial, is. By comparing it to the changes made from the Quest 1 to the Quest 2, the Quest 1 had a slider that allowed you to adjust the IPD to a very specific number that is set for your pupillary distance. When they moved to the Quest 2, they gave you 3 presets, and that isn't suitable for everybody. It was for the average consumer. They figured these are the average ranges for all our consumers for the most part, but it's not going to be suited for everybody. That's a big issue. Sony has an IPD adjustment dial that is so much better than the 3 presets, and it's so much better than software adjustment. Software adjustment is another issue that people have brought up in the past, particularly about Oculus potentially moving in the direction of software IPD adjustment. It can be very unreliable at times. It's not always accurate. It's just probably not the best way to go. I think a mechanical means of adjusting your IPD is critical, and Sony's got it down here. We already talked about resolution, the eye tracking, foveated rendering, USB-C tether, which is nice, gets away from that box that we're so used to. Inside out tracking, we already knew about that from the patents, and it's pretty obvious, as you had said, from the orbs, it's pretty clear, and the head-mounted haptics. So we pretty much talked about everything there that is currently available. But this is what you were talking about before. I just want to make sure everybody can see it. Yep, everybody can see it. So we look at the PSVR 1. 1 megapixel per eye. Anyone who is a PSVR owner knows, like, okay, you could see the screen door effect. If you're looking for it, you can easily see it. We have to go back into 2016 and think, okay, this isn't that bad, especially compared to the PCVR headset at the time, the Rift CV1. For anyone who doesn't know, CV is customer version or consumer version or commercial version. No, customer version. So Rift CV1 had 1.3. It wasn't much better. It was 1.3 megapixels per eye. The Rift S came out. It was 1.8. That was 3 years later. Still not a huge difference. Vive Pro came out, 2.3. That came out in 2018. So that was better. That was nice. And then the Quest came out in 2019 alongside the Rift S with 2.3 megapixels per eye. And since I have the Quest and the PSVR, I can clearly see the difference. The Index, touted as one of the best VR headsets you could get right now, only has 2.3 megapixels per eye. I am flabbergasted by that.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. I figured it would be better than that.
I heard the Quest 2 resolution was better, and I was like, then the Index, and I was like, really? Is it really? Like, $1,000 unit is doesn't have as good resolution as a Quest 2. Here's the fucking
Quest
proof.
is a great deal.
Quest 2
It's a great deal.
3.5. That is a whole megapixel higher per eye than the Index, which is $1,000 compared to, well, once you get, as we've talked about in the past, once you get everything at half the price, you can get better resolution per eye.
Chuck does chime in and say, but it can do 144 hertz.
Yes.
So I mean, there's that.
Yes, and the hertz are important, and I will definitely touch on that because Oculus pisses me off in that regard. But if we look at it, and this is what you were talking about before with the HP Reverb G2. This is already out. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the HP Reverb. It's a good headset when it comes to resolution. Always has been. It's always been competitive. But it hasn't always had the best tracking, and there's always been occlusion issues. So it's still a good headset. People buy it, but it definitely is one of the units that has a leg up in terms of resolution. If you look at the rumored, it says rumored right there. So rumored PSVR 2, it's 4.1, and you even mentioned like, okay, this is better than the Quest 2, but it's 0.6 better. How much of a difference is that going to be? I mean, I look at the PSVR to the Quest, that's a whole 1.3. In the Quest, I can still notice a screen door. You go to the Quest 2, which is 1.2, now we're at like 3 megapixels. That's pretty big. But how big of a gap is 3.5 to 4.1? Not really that big. Whereas the Quest 2 to the Reverb G2, that's a whole 1.2 megapixels per eye. I'm sure it's going to be super, super clear. So 4.1, maybe old technology?
I mean, I think that if they wait on your predicted date of release, old technology. Look at the dates there and look at there's a formulation we can do here where, just in 2016, you would say, okay, newer technology, PSVR, it's brand new. There's first where you can just hook it up to an easy console. You, me, everybody can own it. It's real easy. And it's not crazy expensive. So PSVR went nuts. Yeah. And then you look that really nobody was touching them. You ask me, just based on price and setup. But all of a sudden we started getting into this wireless shit, and then it starts going into better technology, better visuals, and people focused on that. And you see, like, just within a few years, now Sony has competition. And everybody's wanting a piece of that ass, and it's only getting better. So this is their way of rebutting, saying, well, we'll be back on top again. But kind of ish. Still the easy setup. I actually can't say it's going to be easier than the Oculus because there's a cord, rumored cord. Either way, it's still going to be it's going to be really good. 4.1 is going to be really, really good. Nothing to turn our noses up to. I'm not. I can guarantee you that if it's available and I get a chance to buy one, I'm telling you, I'll end up getting one. I don't give a shit.
Like the PS5, I'm going to pre-order it without a doubt. 100% going to pre-order it. And Chuckma says 4.1 will be legit. I am, and I hope no one is taking my statements as like, hey, Sony, you're fucking up by only putting out 4.1 megapixels per eye. First of all,
I don't want to sound stuck up here.
What I am playing with right now is of much lesser quality, so 4.1 is going to be great for me. Okay. Yeah. But what I am concerned about is that they're going to fall into a rut like what they did with the PSVR. Now, everybody loves the PSVR. In fact, it's being used today, and no one really complains too much about the screen door effect unless you're a PC VR user. Then when you go to PSVR, you're like, wow, this is like the resolution quality is totally lesser. Sucks. But there's an upside that Sony has always been a leader in. That is quality of game, and that is refresh rate. PSVR to date still has a better refresh rate than the Quest. 90 hertz minimum, 120 hertz maximum. The Quest didn't even have that, and the Quest came out in 2019. The Quest 2, they only started pushing towards the 90 hertz when the Quest 2 was being released. So, if the resolution isn't great, the performance is going to be great. And that's what Sony, I think, is aiming for here. So if they put out 4.1, okay, the HP Reverb 2 or G2 was pushed out and released last year. So it's a last year unit with really good fidelity. And that's awesome. That's a perk that they have. But if we go back to our previous story about them struggling with finding resources, this could be another move of like, okay, well, we need to find a resource that is readily available to make the units and that is still cheap so that we can keep the price of our HMD low. That is a huge thing that they're focused on right now, is making things affordable because they're already losing money on the PS5. Okay. Yeah. So they're already losing money on the PS5. This could be a move to be like, okay, yeah, the HP Reverb G2 is it's 4.7 megapixels per eye. It's a little bit higher resolution than what we really need. We're still going to have the 90 to 120 hertz, so our performance is going to be good, and it's going to be significantly cheaper. I can see the PSVR 2 releasing at the same cost as the PSVR 1.
I think so too.
I think it's going to be at most $400. I think they could easily push it to $300 if they really wanted to, because think about all the hardware that isn't included. When you bought the PSVR 1, you were buying the HMD and you were buying the box itself. Two different pieces of tech. Now it's just the HMD. Right? It's the HMD and the controllers. The controllers are what's going to push it to more of the 400 region. The headset alone, I can see easily costing $300. There's no confirmation on price, of course, but that's my prediction.
They had better come out with an aim controller, dude. That's makes
I'm keeping my fingers crossed about that one, dude. So I
gonna have
that's kind of it for the articles, but there are a couple pictures here. So if anyone forgot what the potential HMD will look like, there you go. Ooh. We don't really know. This is a mock-up by PSVR 4 Player. I think that's what their name is. Now, we know based on the patent images, this is going to look a little different, but I can't imagine them going away from the Halo strap. I can't imagine them going too far away from the original HMD design. We're going to see 8, maybe 9 cameras on the border here. So there's going to be many, many more cameras. Good riddance, fucking light tracking, sick of you. So this is a potential render, which would be nice. And of course, we have the orbs.
That's real.
Yeah, that one's real. Even down here in the bottom left corner, it says it's not like technically a final design. There's still a potential that it could change, but ultimately, if they're pushing out an image of a product like this, it's likely this is going to be the final design with maybe a few nuance changes. To get into a little bit more detail about the comparisons, you guys can't see this, okay? I get it, all right? But it's a bunch of hoopla. It does, yeah, I agree with you. I think 007, they're going to make it white. Why go away from what you love? Okay.
And I wanted to go back to 007's earlier comment. Obviously, it needs to be eyeglasses friendly. I mean, if you own glasses and you play with a PSVR, you'll know my pain. Your lenses get scratched up really easily. There's a few things that you can try to do to prevent, but for the most part, you just don't set it on your face the way you normally would with your VR headset. So. I'm with you, 00.
Yeah, hopefully they had an awesome slider on the first generation headset, but I know that the slider is even limited, and if it's too far away from your face, you're gonna get a bad image because you can't see that far away. So
and your immersion's all fucked up too. You're allowing light to get inside. You can see basically your carpet or your floor or your feet. Yeah. So
it's definitely not the best. But we also have to remember it was back in 2016, and like you said, it was kind of the start of the new age generation of VR. Yeah. I'm sure they're keeping that in mind, especially because their competitors are, so it's going to be a huge thing. I'd really like to see the PSVR 2 with a flip-up HMD.
Oh, dude,
I
I'm
would love
totally
that.
open for that.
I would
Instead of a
love
slide
that.
out, flip up, be able to see around.
Because I doubt they're going to have a pass through. I mean, they're going to have cameras on the outside, so they could potentially have a pass through. But I would like it if they had the flip up, especially because their new camera is geared towards those streamers from the console. And of course, if you have chat and stuff going on your screen and you can't necessarily see it in the headset, but you can see it on your screen or like even on your PC, so much easier flipping up a headset than it is pulling this out and looking down your nose, right?
Yeah,
so annoying.
exactly.
So what you guys can and cannot see on the screen, because it's super small, essentially this is a comparison of the demographics of each of the competitive head units from Quest to Quest 2, Pico Neo 2, Linux R1, Valve, HP Reverb, Rift, so on and so forth, okay? If we look at this displays, we've already confirmed that from the Quest 2, Valve, everything underneath HP Reverb is of lesser resolution quality. The PSVR 2 is speculated to be the same. What I think is important to come from this, aside from a lot of this, I encourage everybody to go check out all these demographics. You can find them, just search VR demographic comparisons. The refresh rate. This is so important to me because refresh rate will determine whether or not you get motion sickness. Yep. And motion sickness is a killer, absolute killer to anyone's experience. If you look at the Quest, 72 hertz. Talk about being pissed off. I have very few words. Quest 2, 72 hertz to 90 hertz. They're working on ensuring that everything is at a minimum 90 hertz, but it's not always guaranteed. Pico Neo 2, which is expensive as well, is at 75 hertz. Linux R1 is at 90 hertz. The Oculus Quest 2, we already talked about the Valve Index, 80 hertz to 144 hertz. That has the largest range, which gives a lot of development freedom. HP Reverb G2, 90 hertz. And then the Rift 90 hertz. We don't have to worry about the Go anymore. And the Rift S, 80 hertz. Why do I bring all this up? Because the PSVR 2, though it's console-based, 90 hertz minimum and speculated 144 hertz.
So, I mean, it's fighting with a Valve Index.
Exactly.
I mean, it's lightning.
With a higher minimum. Like Sony has said before, I'd have to really go digging through the annals of all the articles I've read, but I am almost certain that they had said when it comes to VR experience, no one should be going below 90 hertz for pure comfort purposes.
Right.
And look at all these head units. The Quest 2, the Pico Neo 2, the Valve even can drop to 80 hertz. The Rift. The Rift is at 90 hertz. You got the Go that was at 60 to 72 hertz. You have the Quest, which is at 72 hertz. The Rift S, which is at 80 hertz. Like, come on, man. That's a gut buster. And we also look at the cost. This is just a little bit of cool information here. The Quest 2 was $399 for 64 gigabyte and $499 for 128 gigabytes on release. The Quest 2 was $299 with 64, which is $100 cheaper than the original Quest. And then their 256 gigabyte was actually was $399, which is the original cost of the original Quest. You have the Pico Neo, which is about $699, $899 if you want the eye tracking upgrade. The Linux R1 is $1,500, but that's a pretty top tier commercial kind of thing. The Quest 2, which is $436 with Elite strap and link cable. We all know about that. The Valve Index, $999 with tracking and controllers. It's just still a pretty decent deal because those controllers are awesome. The HP Reverb G2 is $599. Still relatively expensive, but compared to its competitors, it's not that bad. And then you have do I have the price for the Rift S? I don't have the price for the Rift S, so I'm not going to go over that. But it's, I believe, around $400 if I can remember correctly.
But even still, I mean, if Sony PSVR 2 costs $399 at the top end, just speculated, but at $399, that's practically a steal. I mean, you're getting you're getting like the best VR headset that's out there, close to it, or could be the best VR headset for the price. Holy shit! Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not being a glasses half full on this. I still look at Oculus as actively working on a new headset. If it comes out right around the same time, you know that those specs are going to be awfully close, and they're going to be doing like the eye tracking, and that's just going to be the new norm, I believe. I don't know. I wonder what that price is going to be. You know, if it's going to be $400 for that, or if they might tack on $100 because the Oculus 2 is still so new.
Yeah, I want to talk about the upside. Like, we're talking a little bit about the upside of the PSVR, and when you compare it to the Quest 2, other things that that Sony has done well is comfort, overall comfort. Everybody says the most comfortable headset they have ever worn is the PSVR headset.
Yeah.
Yes, it feels like flimsy plastic. Yes, it's got the silicone blinder barrier, but it's still the most comfortable headset. Put on a Quest or a Quest 2. Think about all the upgrades you needed just to make it manageable.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, it's a lot. So Sony's looking more for comfort and performance rather than like highest quality, which I think is going to do them well in the long run. Is it going to be the best technology? No, but I can understand why they would have a few drawbacks if it means having the unit out for a longer period of time. The PSVR was released in 2016, and it's still being sold today, and it's still bringing in some money, and people still enjoy it. So we could probably see a similar life cycle for the PSVR 2. Another thing, up here on the specifications for the original PSVR, another thing that we didn't talk about was the FOV, or field of view. That's the degrees of freedom from which you can see from one peripheral to the other. The degrees of freedom for the PSVR is 100 degrees. That is 10 more degrees than the Quest and the Quest 2, which is still at 90. Still at 90 degrees of freedom, which is interesting to me. I can kind of understand, because the HMD for the PSVR is simply that. It's an HMD. It doesn't have anything else other than the screens. Right? Whereas the Quest and the Quest 2 has the whole kit and caboodle, right? It's everything. Processor, battery, fans, like everything. CPU.
Turnkey.
It's turnkey. So maybe they went short on the FOV for reasons because it's got everything in the head unit itself. But it's also speculated that the PSVR 2 is going to have 110 or more degrees of field of view, which I think would be incredible if they could actually do that. Pimax was going for like 210 degrees of freedom, which is insane. I don't know if they were able to accomplish that with their 5 or 8K resolution head unit. But the more degrees of view that you get, the more immersed you feel. And I think the overall better experience, you're going to take out the peripherals and you're just going to be able to see everything, ideally. 007 says, I think Sony will release a VR experience with it, like a hub or home in VR. Now, they are working on, there is talk that they're working on bringing a home-like experience back to kind of promote PSVR 2. That's just another like rumor. I'm not entirely sure about it. But looking at the existing specs for the PSVR and comparing it to the new one, you want to talk about a generational leap. I mean, you can't get a better example than this.
It's a jump. It's a major jump. I mean, it's been some time now, so I think that it's due. God, especially if it said this timing, dude. This coronavirus really screwed everyone up. Microchip processors screwing everyone up. I'm ready to get back on track. But it's just some basic news that we've got out today. Some exciting news. I'm very excited about it. Again, I've already said I'm a buyer. That's what I'm gonna do, man. I've always been a Sony kid. I've never owned a Microsoft, Xbox, every Microsoft computer I've ever worked. I'm just a Sony kid. That's all I can say. I like Apple and I like Sony. So if they come out with that shit, I'm probably gonna buy it.
And you never know if you're gonna like it until you try it. Am I right?
Exactly. That's why I keep telling my wife, like, if we just buy it, I'm probably not even gonna like it, and I'll take it back. And then I never do.
Because you like it.
Yeah, it works out so great. I hope she's not watching. That's pretty much all I had to talk about, dude. I just wanted to talk about these updates. You want to talk about that? Did we want to hit up anything else?
I know we're a little late to the game on some of this news, but at present, there's really not much else. I mean, I know Pavlov is going to be coming to PSVR 2. That's all been but confirmed. Pretty much, I think the developer even said it. They're not going to bring it to the PSVR 1 because there's too many limitations, but the PSVR 2, absolutely. I guess we're going to have to be on the lookout on launch titles. What are the launch titles going to look like for PSVR 2? Because if they're going to be coming out with anything, it's got to be big, it's got to be spectacular, it's got to be a pull factor. Otherwise, the PSVR 2 is not going to sell.
I mean, like a Grand Theft Auto would be maybe something.
Hello? Or Red Dead Redemption? Or a Cyberpunk?
Maybe. Well, if they'd ever release Cyberpunk for PS5, I would for sure get that.
Is that game even fixed yet?
I think Chuck was actually showing off. I got to get back up with him, and I'll tell you on the next show. But Chuck was showing me a game that you can get on VR. You probably already know about it, just like Cyberpunk. He said it is Cyberpunk for VR. Lo-fi.
Yep.
Lo-fi. That's what it is.
Yep.
I haven't gotten to play with that one yet.
Yeah, you can. It's currently in its infancy still, but it's created by one person who's created an entire environment. Actually, there's I think a free app that I'm pretty certain it's free app that you can get. It's called Aircar. That is so similar. It's almost identical. I think the guy may have even created Aircar, and you can experience a whole cyber world flying around in this super cool futuristic police style car, and there's like little checkpoints you can go land on them, but it's really cool, free. It's called Aircar. Check it out. That kind of give you a taste, and if you're interested in something like that, you can go to the website for Lo-Fi, and if you buy into it now and provide financial support, it's going to continue in production one way or another, but the more financial support, the faster it's going to go. You buy into it now, you get the game at release, no extra charge or anything. You get all updates for free. So it's got so much promise, and the fact that it's made by one person is incredible. You can currently play handheld games in it. You could literally go in there and like play a Game Boy.
No shit.
Real emulators. There's real emulators,
crazy.
And there's an arcade in there too, where you can play a couple emulators as well. I mean, it's pretty impressive what this guy's been able to do.
One guy, yeah. Some pretty crazy stuff.
Go to YouTube, check out Lo-Fi.
I am. I was going to give a big shout out to everyone who came tonight. Appreciate you guys tuning into another Tech Talk show. Also, Raise Energy Drinks. If you guys click on the link below, you'll get yourself a little discount if you just use our code. Everywhere in the U.S., but not for people like Titch. No, we don't sell stuff to people like Titch.
That's okay. Not unless he does things for me.
Special things. Also, if you go to our website, you can get nice little merchandise like this. Get yourself an Amateur Hour commentary shirt, maybe a face mask, some hoodies. You can even there's some crazy shit we're selling, and we're talking about doing some other stuff. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
great.
I
look forward to it. Wolf, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. I want to give one quick reminder. Tune in to the GSPL weekly update tomorrow around 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Big announcement. There's big things happening for GSPL and for AHC. And if you tune in, you'll know about it first. So please check that out. But that's the last bit I got. Oh, and there might be a Rocket League game too. So
I'll be
coming up.
I freaking love Rocket League. I swear I'm not trying to promote the channel right now. I just personally freaking love watching Rocket League.
So
it's
fun,
so
dude.
great. Like Firewall, man, you can have some where people just get ran over.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, so far in Rocket League, everything has been just so freaking good. Just so good. You gotta watch. Watch one. It's so good. Until next time, people, appreciate you for being here. Peace.